Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the fourth night of our Love and Libations celebration. Tonight, we are thrilled to welcome back Jean-Charles Boisset. He joined us for our 90 Days Around the World promotion, and we did a tour of his wines. We did some Beaujolais from France. We did some of his California collections, and tonight he's going to help us get ready for Valentine's Day with some libations for lovers. So tonight you have me and Chad from the wine marketing team on the line. We're here to answer any questions. We also have David from Perfecta Wines. David helps make it possible for Jean-Charles's wines to be available in New Hampshire. So let's give him a little pre-round of applause for making these wines possible here in New Hampshire. If you have any questions or concerns throughout the program, please leave anything you need to talk through in the chat on Zoom or as a comment on Facebook. We do have a couple of giveaways for tonight as well. David has those giveaways at his office, so you will just need to pick those up from Manchester, New Hampshire. So anybody who is watching live tonight is eligible for those prizes as long as you can pick them up in Manchester, New Hampshire. So please let us know if you'd like to be considered for the prizes, and thanks for tuning in. So without further ado, Jean-Charles, let's have some wine.
Bonjour, Caroline and Chad. This is such a pleasure. So, you know, it's going to be Valentine, and we have David with us with his beautiful, immaculate beard. He looks very charming, and his gorgeous yellow tie. He's always dapper. We have Chad, who is always so matching his beautiful beard and his nice complexion. And we have you, Caroline, always looking not only charming, but very seductive today. So there's only one way to start with Valentine is to pop the cork. As you know, we've done that a few times together. So 1, 2, 3. Woo-hoo-hoo! Here we go. The bottle is open. Valentine is officially started. And I want to tell you all that there's no better time to be romantic, to be charming with one another. There's no better time, right, Caroline and Chad and David, as all of us on a panel, to say to one another we appreciate each other. And I'm so delighted, dear friends, for all the participants today and tomorrow, whoever will be listening, you know, as well, the replay of these great moments. New Hampshire is an amazing state. You have an incredible liquor board, if not the best, one of the top in the world. And we delighted to be part of the energy. We delighted to be part of the feeling and the emotion of this amazing place in the world that is New Hampshire. And I need to tell you all, I was there many, many years in a row, and I would be there with you now if we could be traveling a little more on a looser way. But I'm not wearing my mittles, as you can see, or my mame. I decided not to, although I posted them with Bernie Sanders. He was in the bathtub with me, as you probably have noticed on my Instagram. I know, Caroline, you love to be on it with me.
Absolutely.
And this is in honor of love, passion, and ultimately an amazing 2021. And being with your loved one, it doesn't have to be a love affair, it just could be appreciation and friendship. So Caroline, Chad, and David, I want to raise my glass to friendship. Ooh la la!
I'd love to just echo Jean-Charles's statement. You know, Valentine's Day, it's about being with people you love, and that could be romantic love, that could be friendship love. I hung out with my friend Sean this week. He's my running best friend, and that was, you know, just the kind of love I needed that day leading up to Valentine's. So celebrate love all week, my friends.
That's it. And I think Valentine always reminds us that it could be as well a family affair. It could be a greater friendship affair with the neighbors and other friends. And it's about telling each other that we're so fortunate to be on this amazing planet, to enjoy, and to create a better world together. And I don't mean to be too philosophical in this seduction moment, but I think rosé always brings a smile, always brings joy, always brings happiness. And yes, Paul is asking, where is my little Frenchie? My little Frenchie is actually at home today because luckily, finally, in Napa Valley, we have a lot of rain. So he is at home, sheltered, probably having a little bubble already, and he's having a good time. But on Valentine, he will be with us as well as our ladies. You know, I have twin little ladies of 9.5, and therefore we will be together enjoying all of us some rosé Charles de Fer Jean-Louis bubbles. So, Caroline, what do you think of this wine? I know you know it well. You selected it for today. What does it bring to you?
Oh, well, I don't even know where to begin. It's fabulous. I especially love it in the summertime when it's hot out. That's just me. Obviously, rosé can be drank year round, but that's just me. Chad, what about you?
Um, Similar to what you said, rosé is just kind of one of those wines that you can kind of enjoy anytime. Goes phenomenal with because it is a sparkling. It's a great aperitif and a starter for any meal. And it can also be enjoyed on its own or spicy food. I absolutely love doing a sparkling rosé with some spicy Asian food. And actually, this is part of our Power Buy program currently. And we did just purchase another round of it, so we will have more coming. So it is one of those items that is going to be regularly featured for quite some time.
And what's the price point? Because Karen Newman was asking, what's the price on this baby? And I'm not sure in your part of the world, how much is it for?
So currently it is on sale for $6.99. It's normally $14.99. So it is a phenomenal deal, especially right now with our case discount. Our 15% off 3 or more bottles of sparkling and champagne. You also get that on top of the $6.99 price point.
Wow. As Tracy's saying, wow, wow, wow. Hey, I got to tell you, David, you've been to Burgundy many times. We sell this wine in our wonderful shops in France as well. People love it. It's a big success for Valentine. Can you believe it's more expensive even in our own cellars? So you're doing very well, Chad. I'm so glad. Well, this is great though. And this is exciting to have our guests discover a wine that they want to stick with. And yeah, you get a case of it, Serena. I totally agree. It's important. You know what I have at home? Cases and cases of it for 3 reasons. One, every time there's a guest coming in, you pop the cork, like I just did with all of us when we started the panel, because it's celebratory. And you know, I gotta say, why do we serve bubbles in France all the time, whether it's sparkling wine, Crémant, Champagne, or in Italy, or in Spain, is because it welcomes the guest. It says, I appreciate you visiting us. Number 2, nothing better to cleanse on your palate. So a big advice always with bubbles, and Chad, I know you always say that as well. It brings your palate to neutrality between sugar, salt, acidity, and bitterness. So let's say you've had coffee or you've had tea this afternoon. You want to bring amuse-bouche, as Caroline was saying, little appetizers. This is the perfect way to even out in many ways the pH in your palate. So I love sparkling wine for that. And then thirdly, it's fun. You have great bubbles. They come and caress your mouth. They dance on your tongue. They want you to give everyone a French kiss, which you don't have to always do. But I know Caroline and Chad have their own unique relationship. I know Caroline loves to kiss Chad on the cheek so she could feel those beautiful facial hair. But another way, Chad, you know, the way I may surprise you, as Caroline just said, I serve it too in a whiskey glass, an ice cube in it. So I'm going to show you in a whiskey glass how it works. I have one right here, or it's a water glass, but I'm going to show you. You see? So you don't necessarily need to have the Passion Collection glass. You have it like this and you put ice cube in it. It's one in France we call the piscine. The piscine means the swimming pool. It's like the ice float, and it's very refreshing. And then finally, I would say, Chad, and I'm sure you've done it because you all know a lot about spirits as well. The Jean-Louis is very good if you want to do a French 75, which is obviously sparkling wine, gin, and a little bit of lemon and cane sugar. And it's very, very good as well in cocktails. So for all of you, when you're going to have cases in the garage, under the sink, under the stairs, wherever you want to have it. But I would stock this crazily, specifically at $6.99 a bottle. It's a great gift from the New Hampshire Liquor Board to give you this privilege to access this wine at that price. So in any case, Caroline, I'm quite sold on this wine. Am I not?
Oh, yeah, me too. Jean-Charles, I was wondering, you mentioned even if you don't have a passion glass, is that a special glass that you have there?
Indeed, Caroline, thank you so much for asking. So I decided years ago, even though I love to collect wine glasses and to have the perfect glass, I was always drinking as a long stem. And I realized, I don't smell the wine as much. And the mouthfeel is very different. So I started to design a glass. And then I went to see Baccarat, the famous French crystal maker that was founded in 1764. And we said, let's make this glass out of crystal. And we did. It became an enormous success. Last year, it was their best seller at Harrods, at Neiman Marcus, and all the best Baccarat stores, as well as at our wineries. And this is the glass I designed. So as you can see, it's like a wine glass. So it's very open, right? You can see it's very open. And I'm going to compare it to you to a flute. I'm going to show you something.
This is great, isn't it, guys? I love the real time going to pull something else to show us.
Yeah, so exactly. So Caroline, this is the flute, right? A Baccarat flute as well. So it's a gorgeous, you can see beautiful glass, long stem. But here, you don't smell the aroma the same way. And there's a ton of aroma on this wine. Raspberry, strawberry, blackberry, a lot of freshness to it. It's harder to do there than here. So I decided to design this glass so you can not only see that and look at the beautiful bubbles there. And I've put diamond cuts here. So the color, you see I have a candle under it. Look at the color, a JCB candle that I produce, and it gives you this beautiful pink salmon color that is really magical. So I'm a big fan of that. And if you don't have, or if you don't want a stem, you could do stemless, as I just did here too. And it's very good because it's wide open. So you see my nose goes right in, and then it obviously communicates to me and speaks to me the poetry of all those amazing flavor that are captured in the wine that I'm in love with. So this is really the idea. If you really, after the aromatic expression, you want a wider glass, and a glass that really allows a nose. I don't have too much of a big nose. I could be nosy, but I don't have a big nose. And you want to go in. Oh, I even feel watermelon, cantaloupe, a little bit of white peach. You keep going back with this wine, and it's a basket of flavor as well as a little bit of white rose. Very romantic. I think another thing I would do, Caroline, is I would suggest everybody buys a few cases and a bubble bath. So David Duhamel here witnessed me in a bubble bath. He knows about it. I did it with my lovely wife when she accepted to say yes. She jumped in the bathtub. It was made with rosé bubbles. And 9 months later, our twin girls were born. So not only it's fun to drink in the bathtub, but to have the bathtub being the bubbles. And that makes a whole difference to your experience.
That's awesome.
Thank you, Paul, for saying that. Paul Marginelli. I'm glad it's so Paul, I got to tell you the recipe. So if you want to be romantic this weekend, which you should be, because life is too short not to be romantic, you take a bathtub, of course, and you put half of the volume of hot water, and then you empty every bottle at a time. And let's say you buy a full case, which is not that expensive, obviously, we just heard the price. And it costs you maybe $80 or $100 to put a full case of wine in it, but it's a 6.5% alcohol bubble bath, and you keep going lower. Open your mouth, drink the liquid, and you'll be in heaven. And hopefully heaven will give you pleasure. But don't go dressed up, just be naked, so it's even better for your skin. Maybe David sends us a picture on Sunday.
Yeah, David, let us know.
And I got to tell you, I have the actual recipe. Maybe Lisa Brown. Lisa, if you on it as you are, maybe you could post a picture of me in the bathtub with the actual recipe, because I think it would be a lot of fun for our friends to really do that. Yes, Paul, you could do full of fondue, but it's a little more sticky. It may be very waxy. You may end up coming out of it with no hair. And I'm sure, Paul, you have a lot of hair on your chest. You look very masculine. You don't want that to happen too quickly to you. But in any case, that's the bubble. I'm a big fan of it, dear friends, because, life without bubble would be very boring. And I think, again, it's going to prepare us for the two other wines on the white front, the Chablis and the Evoluna from Sonoma Coast. It's going to really prepare now our palate to be full, to be rich, to be expanded. And it really brings that horizontality to your mouthfeel,
Awesome.
Hey, Caroline, don't hesitate to cut me, because I could speak for nights
Okay.
and days, you know that.
So what other wines do we have on the tasting menu
Well,
for
we have
tonight?
another one, Caroline, that I would love Chad to tell people a little bit about, because Chad has the maps, he's the experts, is really a great one from Chablis. Paul, all the glasses are available on the JCB collection websites. I've tried to convince Caroline and Chad to carry them, but they haven't decided to do it yet. But you should go for it. It's full crystal Baccarat on the JCB collection website. So you type jcbcollection.com and you'll have it. But Chad, tell us about this wine, because this is really, tell us about Chablis, Chad, and then I'll chime in. I'll open the bottle meanwhile you do that.
So the interesting thing about Chablis is a lot of people aren't very familiar with it. If you've never had a Chablis before, it's a phenomenal food wine. It actually has a lot of structure to it, where it does have a lot of that citrus note, where it will be lemon, kaffir lime, but on top of it, it also has a lot of minerality. So the best way to describe that is it offers a balance and a structure to food, which makes it pair extremely well with it. So it doesn't get overpowered by the food, and it also doesn't overpower the food with certain flavors. So you'll have those certain wines like a domestic Chardonnay that may be too buttery, or it doesn't have the kind of food structure to it, whereas this will have, it's fully rounded, so it will go phenomenal with food.
Very well said. And Chad, which is so exciting, dear friends, when you think about 60 million years ago, I know we're going far, But I think what is always important is to think what came before us as individual or as a sense of place. Because wine is all about terroir, which is that great, wonderful word that means the soil, the plant, the weather, the passion, and the people working the land. Chablis is very unique because it has those oyster beds, you know, and the oyster beds were there. The, you know, Atlantic Ocean left Burgundy. That's why in Burgundy you have those beautiful stone that are carved like the fault lines, and they look very beautifully shaped like the wave were shaping it. Behind my house, it's like that. And what I'm a big fan about this wine, it has enormous minerality and great acidity. So as you're in New Hampshire, you all produce the best crabs, the best lobster, probably the best seafood in the United States. You want, like every French people on every French bistro, as Chad is saying, the best with seafood. So you want it with oysters, which is an aphrodisiac. So that's a very good sign for Valentine, and that's why I know Caroline wanted it. It boosts a little bit. You don't need a blue pill here. You just need Chablis, and you set Chablis and oysters, and that's it. Trust me. And then, you know, so the root goes very deep. Roughly, Chad, when you look at a profile of our winery named Moreau et Fils in Chablis, which was founded in 1814, Lucille, our winemaker, who is a great lady, you know, it's a woman winemaker again. She's fantastic. You would look at the profile, it's 7 meters, roughly 20 feet. The root goes deep and it goes into the oyster beds, right? The oyster beds that makes it quite porous and, you know, very gentle for the root to go through. And as the root feeds its food, it gives that beautiful flavor profile of flintiness, of pearl, of pearlization, of shells that you could relate to what we call minerality in this way. And it's amazing because can you believe the wine you're having right now never had any oak contact? No oak whatsoever. And that's the very cool part of it is Chablis has this ability through, you know, the growing seasons, the pits and the skin to really give its amazing golden, gorgeous, rich color. You could see the color here, you know, gorgeous color, beautiful gold, and that amazing aromatic expression that smells like iris, like lily in the valley, like even beautiful, I would say, white roses, wild white roses. And it smells a little bit like nettle and chamomile, as well as resting plants, maybe a little sense of verbena. You know, so I'm a very big fan, like white almonds. If you have that for aperitif, you know, fresh white almonds would be really wonderful, or walnuts with that. Obviously, you have crabs and lobster with a butter sauce. This is a dream, and parsley and garlic. Whoop! You're making me hungry. And that's what you want with this wine. So you want to balance wine always. So you want to work on always, if you have a wine with that great acidity, where are you going to bring the richness? Are you going to have it with dessert? Are you going to have it with an appetizer? Are you going to have it with seafood? And how do you complement the seafood with that? So I love Chablis with mayonnaise, as simply as that, and white asparagus. This is one of my favorite dish. I love it with crab and simple butter sauce. You know, you melt the Baccarat butter on the stove. Escargot, Paul, of course. This is a dream. And I'm going to push it, Paul. I'm going to say frog's legs, because I'm not Burgundian for nothing. I'm the frog. I'm the frog. That's why the English call us the frogs. We love it. And parsley, garlic, frog's legs is to die. It's not as good as sex, but almost. You get a lot more texture in it than maybe leaking anyone's skin. Not to be sexy, but I think what is important too is to with chicken, Tracy, of course. And I would recommend, as a matter of fact, if you are as well vegetarian or vegan, Chablis is an amazing wine with Brussels sprout, with broccoli, you know, with all that families of vegetables, even sweet potato, if you like just sweet potato with a little tofu, or some of that richer, mouth fulfilling type of vegetables. I love it myself with aubergine, aubergine and a little bit of melting Parmesan cheese on top. Oh, woo! I
That
could
sounds great.
smell what I'm not smelling. My mind is bringing the imagination to me. But I would say, Caroline, you probably love those. The last time I was with Nicole and many of you in New Hampshire, we went to a great restaurant and we had Oyster Rockefeller. And I believe Oyster Rockefeller would be brilliant with this because you have the richness of it with the spinach, a little bit of the bechamel sauce, that's what you want. And if you want to be melting in cheese like me, I know Paul alluded to it. What about with fondue, cheese fondue, a vegetable fondue? That's the dream wine. I know it's a lot of food suggestions, isn't it?
It's great though. I mean, for everybody watching at home, let us know, like, are you tasting along tonight? And what are you having for dinner?
That's right. For me, I'm dreaming of a little bit of clams and certainly oysters for sure, with a light mignonette. You make mignonette. Keep your wine red, you're not drinking. Keep it in the fridge. Blend it a little bit with your vinegar. Add a little bit of sugar, a tiny bit of salt, shallot. You're in business. This is the best mignonette ever. So when you all think, okay, I don't want to finish this red wine, or it goes and evolves, when you make your little dressing, whether it's a salad dressing or whatever, that's a French trick. We always add a little wine, which adds a little more of oxidation, a little ripeness, a little sugar to it. Jonathan is having meatloaf and mashed potatoes. Ooh la la.
Jonathan, you should have some red wine with that meatloaf.
Yeah. Oh, he's
Oh, he
having
is.
delicious. Woo! Jonathan, that's good life you're having.
Jean-Charles, I have a question for you.
Yes.
Chad and I were chatting before we got started tonight, and we were trying to figure out how many wineries are you a part of? Because you have a lot of different wine lines, or what is that even the right way to say it? You're everywhere, my friend.
Well, you're very kind. So we tend to focus in French wines, Burgundy all the way to the south of France, Champagne and sparkling wine, from the Jura to the Loire to Burgundy to Champagne to Napa Valley and Sonoma. And we are as well in California. So Sonoma, Napa, Sonoma Coast, Russian River, Dry Creek, Alexander Valley, Central Coast. So we own now, as of today, 32 wineries with physical sites. So whenever you go to boissetcollection.com, and Caroline, I hope you promised me you were going to come and visit. So I hope you do.
I will.
Because you, as well as all your friends in New Hampshire and elsewhere, are really welcome. Exactly, Tracy. You do a road trip, and we literally have 32 locations ready to welcome you. The oldest is from the 10th century, 980. The youngest is obviously in California, and the youngest would be the JCB Lounge in Yountville, which was really started in 2009. But otherwise, we own wineries that encompass 44 centuries of history. And I'm very proud of it because you could be in the Rhone, in an amazing monastery of the 13th century. You could be in Burgundy in a beautiful convent of the 12th century. You could be at Bouchard, you have Bouchard wine in your assortments. That is a beautiful 18th century place. So, we're very proud, Caroline and Chad, to be, the guardian of history, the stewards of the land and history. And I'm delighted to tell you a lot about the people that came before us. Today, obviously, we created our most recent wineries, an expression of style that really uses every wine winery. But as an example, the Oceana that you selected makes wine at Moreau. Moreau is from 1814, and it's made by a wonderful lady in Chablis. Yes, Paul, it's owned by us in Chablis, as every winery we do. And it's made by a wonderful lady who's been with us for 10 years. Her name is Lucie Dupuis. Outstanding lady, like Caroline, and very talented in terms of wine and wine knowledge. And she's been a winemaker, and she's top awarded. As a matter of fact, all the wines we're trying tonight got 92 and 93 points in Parker and above over the last 3 years. So it's very exciting that besides history, behind great people, very well recognized wine in terms of ranking and pedigree and world-class notation. So thank you for asking. Yeah, 30 plus wineries, and all of them you can visit.
And which one will we find? I might butcher how I say this, but I believe you have a velvet lined room at one of the wineries. Is that true?
Absolutely. Well, you'll see that one soon. It's at Raymond in Napa Valley, and it's been so successful. So we do the one in Vougeot in Burgundy as well, which is purple velvet. But the one at Raymond is the color of my jacket, as you can see. It's that very deep red. You can see the velvet here. I know Mike Von Salson is with us, and I know he loves when I wear my red velvet. So here it is. And this one is at Raymond Vineyards in the heart of Napa. So it's in Saint Helena and Rutherford. And the room is all red velvet.
That's going to be my first stop, I think.
And not your last. When you come, yeah, Paul, you're very kind. Yeah, the red velvet, we wanted to put on the label the texture of the wine that is to be discovered in the bottle. And I'm very proud to tell you, it's been an enormous success. So we did the Cabernet in red, we did the Merlot in black, and we did a fabulous red blend that Stephanie Putnam, another great lady winemaker, did in royal blue. So we have the three velvet highlighted within the wonderful range of Raymond Vineyards. So I'm very excited.
Awesome.
So the next wine, dear friends, is a very important one, Caroline, because it's all about the evolution of the moon, right?
Good one.
So why it's important, dear friends, we're going to celebrate tomorrow. As we all know, it's all going to be about Chinese New Year. And that's the cool side of it. It's all going to be about the new moon. And Evoluna is all about the evolution of the moon, the world of organic and biodynamic, and the rhythm of the energy of all the constellations around us, Earth, Sun, and of course, the moon. So this is a great wine that a young man named Brian Maloney makes, who is a director of winemaking for both Deloach and Buena Vista. So I know, Paul, you're having the Zinfandel. So Brian, who made that Zinfandel, made the Chardonnay. And I'm an enormous fan of it. It's sold with great success in France as the most elegant and sexy, wine made from the Sonoma Coast region. So I'm delighted to tell you that, I'm thrilled that it is what it is and how great it is. So it's very, very exciting. But maybe Chad, tell us about the Russian River and the Sonoma Coast.
So the Sonoma Coast and Russian River, obviously, with our 90 Days Around the World program, we really explored a lot of fascinating places in California. And if there was anything that we found out about Sonoma, I mean, some of the best Chardonnays you will ever possibly be able to try. I highly, highly recommend, if nobody has ever tried a Sonoma Coast Chardonnay, definitely try the Ava Luna Chardonnay. It is unbelievable, and it really will open your mind to what white wine can become and how food friendly it is.
And we've got Tracy on the line tonight who loves Chardonnay. Tracy, have you tried this one before? Oh, she hasn't tried this one yet. Tracy, give it a try.
Yeah, so Tracy got it for the weekend. So I'm glad everybody should really jump on it. One, the wine is very delicate. It's an amazing vintage. And two, it pairs beautifully with the Chablis as well. So if you do all the wines we're presenting today, you're going to have an incredible time. Paul, it's only lightly oaked. It has less than 30% new oak. So you have a little bit of oak just to tease your palate. A little bit of vanilla, a little bit of honey, a little bit of butterscotch, a little bit of wild toast. And I think you want that buttery but very refined characteristics. It's made in a barrel maker that is my favorite. It's a young lady who owns the cooperage. Her name is Chassin, and she lightly toasts the barrels so it gives that beautiful, rich flavor profile to it. So the wine, if you decide to have foie gras as an example of pâté, it's an amazing wine because it really balances it well. And, balance as well your tasting. You have the Chablis, no oak. Here you have a little oak. And you have a little more exotic flavor profile on this wine that you wouldn't have necessarily in the Chablis. So I love it because it's a little richer. I'm a big fan of this wine, and I serve it a lot because I love the balance of it. I love the sunshine that kisses the glass, and I really love that long mid-palate finish that makes it very, very fulfilling. If you were to have lobster, this is your dream wine. If you were to have scallops in a butter sauce, this is your dream wine. If you were even having, I mentioned it before, but broccoli or Brussels sprouts or all those kinds of vegetables, I think it's a great pairing. Even with tomato mozzarella, for that matter.
Jean-Charles, Tracy is wondering, she's going to pick up some of this wine this weekend, and she's wondering what fruits can you taste in this wine?
Oh, so there's one I think which is very coming out, which I love, is unripe pineapple, a little bit of pink grapefruit. I love the white rose. We've mentioned it before on the bubbles, but this is very much there. And exactly, Chad is saying light vanilla. Totally agree. Green apple. So not your rich apple flavor that you may want to have for an apple tart, but maybe more your citrusy Granny Smith, right, Chad? Type of apple. So
Yeah,
I really agree with Chad's description. This is very well said. And he says lychee. Ooh, good catch. Very well said. The lychee is very much there. And I love a little, maybe there's a tiny bit of coconut that maybe is on the back end that comes maybe from the oak a little bit. Yeah, I love it. And maybe, I'm very sensitive to nutmeg. I love nutmeg in my cocktail, like my gin fizz or my Ramos fizz. And there's maybe a tiny bit of fresh nutmeg here. White almond, nutmeg. Yeah, great flavor. Ooh. But Chad got it right. Lychee. Wow. You got that one. I did not get it, Chad. That was a good call. Mm. Try it.
All right, everyone. So we only have one wine left. So while Jean-Charles gets that last wine ready and walks you through that, I'm going to turn my camera off for a second, pull everybody's names who left some comments or questions, and pull the winners of our giveaways. So I'll announce those as soon as we have tasted our fourth wine. Oh, Jean-Charles, you're on mute.
I'm going to let Chad maybe start to describe the next one because I know Chad is like a leopard, very similar to this label. So, dear friends, I'm going to tell you a lot about this one, but I'm going to let Chad start, maybe on the composition, because he selected this wine with Caroline and the great team in New Hampshire. I'm a fan of this. This is one of my favorite bottle of wine, my favorite design. No branding. It's called Secret Blend. And the label is actually velvet. That's the cool part of it. It's like my jacket. You want to touch both. I wish someone was next to me to touch both because that would be the thing to touch. Maybe my chest, maybe the bottle, maybe the jacket. I don't know. This is, yes, Serena, I agree with you. This is my absolute favorite. And you could see this is our candle, the leopard. Look at the label. And you put that on the table and everybody says, wow, what is this? Ooh. And the people become animalistic. They become savage. They become, wild. Thank you, Tom, for your congratulations. I'm a big fan, and it's a heavy bottle. It's a very heavy duty bottle shape, which makes it very nice to hold and grab and present. So Chad, it's all you.
So I had the luxury of being able to taste this wine, I believe about a little over a year ago. I had brought a bunch of friends together and we decided to drink a few bottles of wine, and we had this bottle and everybody looked at it. Great label. It's got the velvet finish on it, and all of us were super curious and we had to try it. And we opened the bottle and instantly everybody fell in love with this wine. Just the notes that you get out of it, it's so complex, but it's got some nice fruit forward blueberry and some blackberry and cherry, and it's just an unbelievable quality wine. And to kind of say how much of a hit this wine was is we had some friends with us that aren't normally wine drinkers that absolutely loved it and finished the bottle before any of us could get a second glass. One of my hands down favorite red blends that I've had the luxury of trying in the past year. Definitely a great bottle of wine, and it's super eye catching with the label, so it's a great Valentine's gift for that special person in your life.
Well said, Chad, and thank you. And I'm glad they didn't have to try a second taste because they should all go to the store and get each a bottle. Because you know what? I'm looking, our production is actually very small. We only make a few hundred cases. It got 95 points by Robert Parker, so an enormous score. And what I love about this wine for all of you, compared to the Prisoner, Paul, there's no comparison. This is another league of styles of wine. The Prisoner would be big and in your face. It's maybe a $35 bottle of wine. Here, this is an $85, $90 bottle of wine. I don't know how much it is in your store, but this is normally on our website. I believe it's around $95 a bottle. So you don't have those primary sugar. You don't have any of the obvious fruit profile bomb that a red blend could have with high level of ripeness and high level of alcohol. This is actually a very tame salvage wine. So it's 71%. I'm giving you the exact percentage of Cab, and 18% Cab Franc. And Petit Verdot is the balance. So the three top grape variety. In fact, for me, I serve it all the time. We're doing two Valentine event. I have them in both because I'm in love with this bottle of wine, because I think for the price point, it's a giveaway. You know, it tastes a lot more than $90 or whatever the price is in New Hampshire. And I think it's sensationally perfumed. So you have flavors of cassis, of toasted spice, of lavender, of sandalwood, of, if you love fragrance as well, of maybe oud. So this is really that elegant texture that you want in your glass for Valentine or any big occasions. I mean, you want to impress someone with an insane, phenomenal bottle of wine. I think this is it. And we've done only 50% new oak. So this is in fact very well managed on the oak front. And that's the whole idea, is to make sure that the wine is not too oaky, right? So you really have that great balance and that richness without having too much of, you know, toasted oaks that you may be tasting in the other wines that you were mentioning before, which are kind of wood bombs. Here we want integration. We want what Caroline was saying on the bubbles earlier, is balance. I think that's very important. And sex appeal and seduction and texture and something exquisite that's going to get you excited. That's going to get your body to tremble. That's going to get your mouth to water. That's going to get you to want to have a French kiss. You know, we're talking about Valentine here. This is no foo-foo, non-foo-foo occasion. This is the big deal.
Jean-Charles, what are you doing for Valentine's this year?
So we're doing two fabulous events virtually as well with Gina and the ladies, our little twin girls. So we're going to have a luncheon and a dinner. And we're doing it together at our table with a group of 60 friends, both events. And then I'm doing in the afternoon a blending seminar. It's going to be a lot of fun because we basically are going to be blending wines and creating a red blend with around 75 guests as well. So it's a full day. It's going to be a big day because a lot of people, typically we do sit down events on the Saturday night, on the Sunday at the wineries, but obviously we must be closed still. So we're going to do it virtually. So we're quite excited because we're going to have great food. We're going to be like we are now, meeting with friends and having discussions. And I'm very excited about it.
What about you, Chad? What's on the agenda this year?
Obviously, this is a little stranger of a year than normal, but I'm just going to spend some time with my beautiful wife.
Awesome. So everybody watching, what are you guys up to? Have we inspired you at all this week? We had cooking class last night with Kendall Jackson, and I'm going to be making one of those dishes on Saturday night. So that's my little Valentine's celebration. My house is pretty well stocked on wine. So we might have a little wine tasting.
I'm sure.
So
I'm sure it's well stuck on wine, but I hope you're going to have one of the secret blend here, because that's something exciting, Caroline.
You know, I don't have your secret blend at my house, but I do have bubbles. I have the rosé one, and it's in a pink bottle, and then I have the same one that's in the gold bottle.
Oh, great. Yeah, so Mary Watts is asking, you know, which wine? I think, Mary, you got to get one of each. You got to get one of each, like what I'm doing here. Look, I have quite the lineup. They're all here.
Well, spoiler alert, Mary, whichever wine you choose, you're going to be able to chill it in the gold ice bucket that you have won tonight. So congratulations.
She did.
Yep. Mary has won the gold ice bucket. Karen has won the bracelet, and Tracy has won the book. So I will put my email address in the chat for everybody to message me, but it just seemed like such a great time to let Mary know that whichever wine she chooses, it's going to have a new accessory to sit in.
Wow, I love it. So we had the ice buckets, the jewelry, which I'm so thrilled, and as well the books. So that's quite a triptych of gifts. Huh?
Yes, thank you so much for sending those over.
It's a pleasure. You know, Mr. Von Salson and Miss Brown, they're always so good at organizing it to the T with you. So I'm so glad.
So
One
Jean-Charles,
of these days we're gonna gift a candle too. You see, this is a JCB candle,
ooh,
leopard style.
very nice.
I'm a big fan of the smell. This goes very well with wine, and I'm still on the Evoluna now. Oh,
So Jean-Charles,
amazing together.
you've been hosting your own series of live events most evenings. If anybody wants to hang out with you after tonight, what can they expect? What do you have coming up?
Exactly. So um, we have an amazing, incredible array of guests every night at 6 p.m. Pacific time. So Tracy, thank you for watching. Yeah, you're watching on Instagram, Facebook, and we're really delighted because we're having incredible guests every day. And as you can see, I'm going to tell you, it's live for the most part, and we do wine styles as well. We just had Marnie Old as a phenomenal, extraordinary sommelier and very well-known writer. We just did a show on fondue. Fondue is in the air. We just had Andrea Robinson Hammer, very famous, as you know, sommelier and wine writer. We just had as well an amazing gallery owner, Wine Mix Media. So, you know, we have guests every night, and it's a blast because you get to discover great people, open a bottle of wine, meet people online, and do something you wouldn't necessarily do. So I encourage you to come and join us on this amazing journey that are the JCB Live. And it's JC Boisset on the Facebook and the Instagram. So I'll write it down for you. Thank you, Tracy. I try to be entertaining. So I'll put it in the chat just for you all to know. It's basically my name. So it's pretty simple. And if you have friends who want to be on it from New Hampshire, let me know.
And so everybody that tunes in, enjoy, but just know that I am already one of Jean-Charles's Facebook's biggest fans. So go ahead and try and unseat me from that.
Yes, thank you.
I think I've probably watched 4 out of 5, every 4 out of 5 I watch. It's just so fun whenever we get to have you
Thank you,
on.
Karen and I. And you get to meet a lot of fun people, which is great. So, you know, that's the beauty of it. I think the world of wine is about introducing many great people to all of us and create memories, create great stories, sharing great experience. So that's why I'm so excited about it. It's what it's all about. Friendship and passion, and obviously everything else. And we have, I'm looking at it right now, you know, Caroline, we have in 2 minutes, the live from Direct to the Cellar.
Oh,
I'm going to be right now with Stephanie Putnam, our winemaker from Raymond, and we're going to tell you all about the Napa Valley Vintners and the auction.
all right, everybody. So as soon as this feed ends, head over to Jean-Charles's page, spend another hour with him. It'll be exceptional. Jean-Charles, thank you so much for being here with us tonight. It was so great being able to see you again. Obviously, virtual is nice, but it's even better when you're here in town. Jean-Charles and his wife did a presentation during Wine Week a couple of years ago that is probably one of my favorite wine events I've ever been to. So guys, be on the lookout for when we're able to host in-person events again. Jean-Charles he's great virtual, but he's even better in real life.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much, Caroline. And we did a wine thanks to you named Room 106, which was the big secret as we were staying in that room. And I know David came over to say hello with his beautiful yellow jacket. I know he was wearing a red jacket that day.
Just
He was trying to impress Gina. Remember, David?
Ooh.
Very Valentine-ish. And Chad, great to see you as well. And Caroline, as always, you're amazing. And, you know, we love you all in New Hampshire. Paul, thank you for being with us. Paula and Whitney and all of you, Tracy, all of our friends in New Hampshire for really being with us and being our friends, Tracy. Thank you.
Yeah, everybody, it was such a pleasure tonight. We have one more event tomorrow night to help get you ready for Valentine's Day. It's tomorrow night is all about bubbles. We had some great bubbles tonight, but tomorrow night is all bubbles with Moet Hennessy. So we'll see you tomorrow at 6:30 for that. And we hope for those of you who won't be joining us tomorrow, we hope you have a great Valentine's Day and we'll see you soon.
And we want to send a kiss to Karen Newman too. I know she was there. And the charming David, look at him. He has his jacket. He is fragrantly perfumed. I can know he smells good. He's ready to be embraced and hugged and kissed. All right, dear friends.
It was so great to see you all. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Bye.
Bye,
Good
John.
night.